Yes, and today we are looking at Dashlands, customizable dashboards for your games of Gaslands. So, those of you who have been in this game as long as I have will have heard of these. They are a very nice premium brand that has come out, because always remember, with the rulebook and with the available PDFs and things online, you don't actually need to buy these. You can just write your car stats down or print them off yourself. But if you want to spend a little bit of money, then maybe you could have something as nice as this. So today we're going to check these out, we're going to compare them, and because of the coronavirus it's not possible to play test them, but I'll certainly be trying some of the more important features of a card. So let's get into this. Now, for the life of me, I can't remember which ones they've sent me, so let's just open this up and find out. Because remember, Dashlands do a variety of dashboards for all of the different sponsors, including the new sponsors in the Gaslands Refueled rulebook. They've been very good at keeping on top of that. I don't think they've missed a single sponsor, which is really good, because it means if you've got a favourite, they're in there. So in this instance, I've been sent the Rusty's Smugglers, which is this very nice design, including the Warrig cards, which are different in that they have additional hull points and a little logo of a Warrig. There you go. Now, if you're a connoisseur of trading card games, you're probably wondering, well, how do they feel? What's the card feel like? Because it's all well and good saying, oh, it's luxury, but if it feels thin or if it feels weak, then you know it's not actually that good. But yeah, this feels alright, this feels okay. If I were to do the bend test, it seems to be bending fine without any warping, which is good. Although it is holding that position. If I bend that back now, yeah, that feels okay. What about lengthways? Because what we're looking for is once it's bent, will it have a ridge or a crack or anything that indicates that the card has been permanently damaged by the bend? Or can you just bend it back? And I think, yeah, these are good enough that you can just bend them back and they'll be perfectly fine. So that's good. So what about compared to other card games? If you play games like, say, Magic the Gathering, how does it feel compared to a Magic the Gathering card? Well, I'd say that's pretty similar. Yeah, it feels basically the same. It doesn't feel like it's made of a thinner or cheaper material. I mean, size-wise, they're virtually identical. I mean, you could slip those into a Magic deck and no one would notice. So what about, say, something like a Pokemon card? Yeah, I mean, again, very similar, virtually the same, very high quality. I don't think you'd have any issues there. A newer game like the Transformers tabletop trading card game, I'd say that might actually be a bit thicker than the Transformers card. Don't know why that is. I'm not a connoisseur of the Transformers game, sadly. I need to get back into it when coronavirus ends, but that feels pretty good. And finally, let's compare it to cards from other games. So what about, for example, a War Machine card? Yes, so here we've got a Protectorate of Menoth card. Now that is very tough by comparison. So yeah, so I wouldn't say it's as thick or as heavy as a War Machine card. So what about compared to that other Wasteland card game, Devil's Run? Because Devil's Run's had cards out for a while now. So how do they feel compared to Dashlands cards? Wow, that is thin! That is thin! No, no, that does not feel the same. That does not feel the same kind of quality that we're playing with here with Dashlands. I'm actually surprised at how thin that is by comparison. Oh boy. And I quite like the Devil's Run cards. But as you know, I mean, these things are designed, you plop them on the table, and then using a, wipe erase pen, you can go, there's the damage on the card, and it's the same. It's the same with the Dashlands kind of cards, so you can add on your hazards, write down whatever details you want. So in that regard, I mean, you're not actually doing anything to the card itself. It's all going on a mat, effectively. To put this in perspective, if I was to take this War Machine card, this Crusader Warjack, and go over the course of the game, I've lost my left leg and left arm and my torso and it's blown up. Okay, great. I'm not doing anything to the card itself. This is all on the mat. So let's perform a few more unorthodox tests, shall we say. So with the one that we bent earlier, what if we were to actually, during a game, instead of having a sleeve, what if we were to write on that directly? How dry erasable are these cards if the information is put directly onto the card? Okay, so I thought I'd just pause the video here because turns out I completely messed up this next part. The cards actually are designed to be written on. It's why you get so many in a pack. You get 20 odd cards, because the idea is you've got the blank cards that you can just use on the fly to make your team, but you've also got spare cards that you can then use to make a library of permanent cards, as it were. So you would write on them before then putting them in a sleeve. So if you look at the review by Guerrilla Miniature Games and Televised Carnage, two far better YouTube channels, they actually remembered to point this out. So yeah, oh well. Anyway, back to the video.
So super handy. Now, if you did want to sleeve these just to make them extra safe, you could.
As you can see here, I've written on the card in a regular sleeve that you may find for Magic the Gathering cards. And then I've put that inside of a top loader, which then I can use a dry erase marker on to write over it and making sure I don't erase any of that data I put on that regular card sleeve. You could then just use your finger throughout the game to erase any data that you need to. It's really simple and really user-friendly.
Just do it on the card. Let's see. So I've put that on there. Does it come off? Not. That's not great. But fair's fair. If I take, for example, a Magic the Gathering card. If I take a Magic the Gathering card, you scribble on that. There you go. So by comparison, yeah, sure. On this, it doesn't wipe off great. Does it wipe off great on other cards? I guess it does. Yeah, you're in the middle of a game. You've got to bring your sleeve, so you wrote on your card. What if you get a baby wipe? Can you just... The answer is yes, basically. Look at that. Yeah, you could just wipe it off. Look at that. That's pretty much all come off. I mean, I am using baby wipes here. I'm not using anything particularly powerful, but yeah. Let's just clean off this magic card. Remember that one from the show? Wobbuffet. So if you take Wobbuffet and rip them in half, you will notice that it has a blue core on the inside. Or is that a black core? I actually can't tell. Whatever. It's got a coloured core on the inside. I know fake ones are meant to be black and legit ones are meant to be blue or some rubbish. Well, let's test one of these bad boys. So, it has, what on earth kind of colour is that? That is different. They're just not that great. What do they look like on the inside? Well, they got the same kind of dark blue coring there. Alright, so it's all well and good saying, oh, they're great cards, oh, they feel good, but if they're badly designed, if you haven't got enough space to actually do anything on them, then that's not good enough, is it? So let's say I was going to use this in the game. I'm going to vandalise this one, but let's say I'm doing the Mad Dog. Okay, and it's a heavy truck. Let's say, you know, it's got a shotgun, and it's got like nitro, and what else would it have? I don't know, is it extra armor? Extra armor is always a good one. Alright, okay, so this is me just scribbling a few things onto a card, and this is my normal sized handwriting. Like, legit, this is how big my handwriting is. You know, this isn't, I'm exaggerating, you know, for the camera. That is how big my handwriting is. So with that in mind, just how small would you have to write to actually fit information on here? Well, pretty small. I mean, I would still use these in my games, but as opposed to just typing something up and printing something off, it's a tricky one, because if you compare that to games like War Machine, yeah, the information on the cards is absolutely tiny by comparison, you know, tiny minute writing on the cards. However, you know, the whole thing with War Machine is it's printed up. These are printed up cards. You don't have to try and write that down. And my natural handwriting isn't that big. I mean, if I was to really try, if I try and just make this smaller, you know, it's still quite large for these cards. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that whenever you're writing something down, oh, it's smudgy. Oh, it is a bit dry white. That is good. Whenever you're writing something down on these cards, you need to keep that in mind, because otherwise you run the risk of trying to fit a small essay and it's like, it's just not going to work. It's like, hello, my name is, like, to me it's basically invisible, and I suppose that's the thing. It's like only I would need to be able to read it, so I don't know. It is what it is. But no, I do quite like them, to be fair. I think the cards are quite good. I think they're pretty detailed. In terms of a premium product that you don't naturally need, you do not 100% need this to be able to play Gaslands, but it's something that's nice to have, yeah, certainly. I can recommend this. You know, on this channel I only have as sponsors products that I actually like. I'm not going to have anything that I look at and go, oh, what's this rubbish? Oh, you should totally buy this, because that's just disingenuous. It cheapens your experience and it makes me look bad. And I'm not going to do that. So what do I, final impressions, what do I think of Dashlands? Yeah, they're alright. They do, they do the job. They do as advertised. If you put them in, some card sleeves, like you would with other, card games and brands, if you stick them in sleeves, they will do the job very nicely. You can have them as that dry wipe experience. But in terms of, trying to write on them, which isn't their intended purpose, that's fair enough. They're not 100% the best, and I don't expect them to be fair. But when you compare them to other card games as well, like, there's a lot out there, so you go, well, what's the actual card quality like if I was to compare it to something like Magic the Gathering, or, you know, the Pokemon card game. And it is good. It is quite good, to be fair. So, no, I'm not going to knock them. I'd say, in terms of what you see is what you get, yeah, I'd say they're pretty good, and I am happy with them. So, thank you for watching today's episode, and yeah, as a quick aside, check out our new sponsor to the channel, Dashlands. Welcome to the family, Dashlands. It's good to have you on board. These have been Rusty's Bootleggers cards, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.